Morning, folks. 9:16 in the morning. It is November the 12th, 2023, the Weaver Agency, Roseman, California. Am I turning this into the diary of the griever named John Weaver? I know I'm a zombie this morning. I'm still getting up there, but I'm alive. So I can do at you. I'm coming across a few things that the corporate media is having conniption fits, and I wanted to talk about it. I already probably covered it, but I'm still going to cover it again. Freedom of religion versus the oppression of religion. The government, or actually some of those extremists, the Trumplicans, basically, want control over how do you pray, what you pray. You will pray it this way because we say so. And forcing the government to do that is breaking the Constitution, and they think it's a silly rule for the freedom of speech. Freedom's only for the elitism, and they think they are the elitism, so they are better than everybody else, and they will prove it by being elitists. They say so. That's how it works. You will deal with us because we say so. There is no there is no resistance. You will not resist. You will just deal with it because we say so. They're more like programmed Star Trek robots in there. Remember the Borg? You will be assimilated. You will have no choice. You will be part of us because we say so. I always keep bringing up the portion why there was separation of religion because I always keep drawing upon history on this. Why did we have that put in the Constitution in the first place where government will not recognize one particular religion? Because people kept forgetting what happened in England and nobody cares. Because they don't bother with history. They don't bother remembering what the hell started our country in the first place. There was a lot of conditions happening, but one of them was having the freedom to worship whatever you wanted without any kind of government official saying, "No, you can't do that. You can't worship that because we say so." Back in England, you had a king in England during that time. He was getting sick and tired of Catholicism. Formed his own. Protestant. Protestant. How's that grab you? I have been trying to rack my brains why they would want organized religion. As I said before, I kept trying to go back to history on this one. Now, I was never a history buff growing up as a kid. Something that was force fed down your throat, something you had to go through the school system to graduate. You had to get a bare knowledge of what was going on back then, and maybe it would have helped you out. A little bit of government knowledge of how the government system works a little bit, how to vote. But after that, they'll let you loose. If you had math skills, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, if you actually had reading comprehension skills, not much on science or technology. Maybe if you're athletic, but very few skills that they would actually use. Now, if you were actually a 4.0 student and you were trying to excel in a lot of things and universities would be able to pick you up, maybe you would have been able to pick up a bachelor's and a master's, maybe a PhD. And in those days, they were not exactly commodity because it took a lot of money and a lot of time to get to those. It still does. And if you're a PhD, they thought you knew a lot of stuff. And you challenged anything and everything because you knew your stuff. When you're a high school graduate, you didn't know diddly. because you're only given a little bit to do. You understand how to read something? Fine. You're your office clerk. You know how to type fast? Okay, you're still an office clerk. You know how to use a few upcoming programs out there? Okay, we'll advance you to better than an office clerk. But when it came down for studying history and how to apply everything, you needed the context of thinking critical. That's why you needed to go to college to understand that. And there would have been a lot of things that you would need to have understood. I mean, I could work at different jobs left and right and do the menial crap. But I didn't pay attention enough to the educations or the reasons why it was important and imperative for me to complete college or even pass it and get at least an A degree. It disappointed my family a great deal during those days because I didn't realize it. I didn't have the perspective, and nobody had it for me. I had to get it myself. So now I've looked at a lot of things, and I've also taken classes later on in my life, and trying to understand and putting things into perspective. King George wanted his own control. In my own interpretation, he wanted no control from the Pope. When it came down for religious authority and autocracy, it was the Pope who was in control, not the king. But the king should say everything because he is the king and he is the authority in the land and the country. And therefore, he wasn't going to have the Pope say anything or have his way over the British crown, especially when it came down for religious aspects. My own interpretation. And here we go with Protestant formation of Methodism, Calvinism, of Mormonism, Baptism, several others. But they're different versions of how to look at the Bible and how their own religious aspects and their own teachings and theologies, their own interpretations, all formed under Protestant. In that way, you probably would thank the king for that one. But he really wasn't thrilled about people still following Catholicism because they'd be following the Pope, not him. Government sponsored. Government sponsored religion. You had to believe in this one or else. And if you wanted to have your own religion, even Judaism, you were out of luck, pal. So imagine having that forced down people's throat that you had to learn and you had to be part of this particular religion or else. Use your imagination on him or else. Some of the people are escaping to have their own religious freedom. That's why they came to the New World. And the Native Americans were already here already. They already had their own versions. Great Spirit in the Sky. They had their own connection to nature, to the land. Until we Europeans had to go over there and screw them over. We did. And we're paying for it. But we're going to be paying for it more because we're going to have these religious nut jobs out there that wants one religion and nothing else. You will be a Christian. You will believe it in our way or otherwise. And the First Amendment doesn't apply to anybody except for them, except for it being elite. Doesn't matter which particular form of elitism it still is. Me over you, and I win, not you. So imagine when I keep hearing people that they want to change the Constitution or force the Constitution to change to them. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. It just got me ticked off every time I keep hearing about these people who are claiming that their religion, their version of it, is going to be the absolute. And they are following their own people, their own religious leaders out there, who are not religious, by the way, are just mouthpieces. Some of these leaders are getting on social media and trying to gather more and more followers on that one. Still trying to tell people that you're going to follow this way or otherwise. I keep thinking there's a lot of things I could throw out to talk about this one, and I've used this one a lot of times because it always brings it to that point. Not just for King George and his situation. No. Science fiction, Buck Rogers, television show, Gil Gerard in it, with Jack Palance in one particular episode. Planet of the Slave Girls, where you have Jack Palance as a charismatic, or charismatic populist, if you want to look at it that way. He gets his power from people's fear. He wants more ultimate worship from them. He claims that he wants it. He will do whatever he can to make sure that people are that way. Same thing what we have these days. You could be following Judaism. You could follow Muhammad, Islam. You can follow Hindu, Vishnu. And those will be scorned at, ridiculed, because they are not of Christianity. They're not of this. How dare you? You are an infidel. As I said before, people keep forgetting history at this point over here. And what I had learned a long time ago, and even back when I was going through junior high and high school, anybody ever heard of the Crusades? Multiple excursions going into the Middle East to conform the heathens over there. They must obey Christianity or else they get skull thumped. Thump on head. Or worse. Spanish Inquisition time. Oh yeah, Mel Brooks really made a comedy about that damn thing, didn't he? When it came down for the Crusades, that was bloodier than hell. Royalty would go out either by the order of the papacy or by their own burp their butts, basically for the Holy Roman Empire. Because of that, the Middle East had, well, not just that. The Middle East has already been a hot spot anyway for unrest. People could never find any peace in that place. Everything had to be, you're going to follow me around, otherwise we're going to do something nasty to you. You will follow this. You will. You have no choice. You have zero choice. We say so. Mm-hmm. Supposedly, in our country of the United States of America, we're supposed to have plurality. Meaning we have the option and the freedom to believe and worship it any way we want to. However, we don't have the option of forcing people to do otherwise. You will believe in our way, or else we say otherwise. And not to mention, we are demonstrating out way too much. And it's getting worse. But I just wanted to get this off my chest. I am a Christian. I don't know if I practice it very well. There's other things that I have to keep praying for forgiveness on. There's a lot of things I've screwed up in my life. So I'm not quite sure if God still wants to deal with a schmuck like me in the first place. Being a witness to human tragedy, human history, and feeling like I can't do a damn thing about it, it kind of hurts like hell. Because I'm witnessing more and more of humanity and its lack of compassion towards anybody and everybody. We have people pointing the finger all the damn time. Is that going to help us out? Nope. It's not. I don't know what we're going to say or do about it, but this is what's happening. We all have a choice. We all have a choice. Either we can allow other people to say that we're going to follow their way for believing or saying anything, or else we're going to be doing it the way it should have been. We'll give you the freedom, but just don't tell me how to think or how to feel or how to believe. And unfortunately, we have those people who are still doing that to us. They want us so damn badly. They have their egos to feed. Well, my question to you, how's your ego? Do you want it to be fed? Do you really want that kind of publicity? That kind of attention? Do you really want it? I'm not pointing the finger at you. I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question whether or not we're going to be doing this dramatic shit here. Are you going to believe? Are you going to turn yourself into a believer? We need the believers. In the name of whatever we throw out there, you will believe in the whatever kind of spiel we're going to be putting at you here. But you will believe. You'll feel the power from whatever we're thinking at this point over here. And we want you to, here it comes. We want you to support this action. We want you to support this action. We cannot exist without your action. By the way, I did tell you I got that planet warming up right now, right? Yeah. Oh, what about that super cat? Yeah, that's just a fun thing in it. Yeah. And then there's that amusement park. Oh, people flock to that one of the faith. I can't tell you back in the 80s and 90s how much I've heard about this crap going on. Most of these guys are already dead or just hiding. Yeah, I'd seen it. I didn't want to understand one word of the damn thing, but I understood it. They're nuts. You want to talk about grifters at this point over here? You should have been seeing these damn televangelists on there. The world of tomorrow, the world's going to end, but we want your donations right now to support our Doom channel. But I've got this property here, and if I don't get it, God's going to kill me. So you must save my life. You must donate every last penny, and then you got to go over to the other guy and rob him blind and pay me too. Because I need this. If you love me that badly, please keep me alive. I want your damn money. I don't like going against one particular guy who has actually saved my ass, or actually had been enlightening me. even though it looked like he may have been one of those kind of grifters out there. But I don't. I'm sorry. To this day, I don't hold him into that particular situation. He may have been one of the people I can actually respect and trust. And he wrote books. He followed one particular guy who actually had a lot of good ideas. And at the time, I thought I was believing in it. And it was kind of calming me down a little bit because I liked reading his material back then. And he had his own televangelism ministry going on. Started from a humble drive-in theater on a Sunday, preaching, surrounded by oranges, orange groves. Plays out in Garden Grove, close to Anaheim. And he had his church created. And then he had to have a cathedral because he wanted to reach more people and have more people come to hear his preaching. And a lot of people actually supported it, and we still have the edifice still up, even though the ministry had just disappeared. Maybe under different hands, but it's still an architectural wonder. And during those days, my family had watched on television, but also went over there a couple of times. Also seen some of the specials they had. And we were enthralled. Wish we could have had made a distance all the time over there, but gas is expensive even during those days. We had our own church we went to, and sometimes we like to expand a bit, go to different places. Seeing Easter over there was okay. But where my family had seen Easter, that was at the Hollywood Bowl. And here's the thing. They kept it non-denominational. Anybody of a religion could go over there and experience it, except it was still Christian theology. But still, that wasn't held against anybody else. We weren't going to hold you against actually, they weren't doing that. They were allowing anybody and everybody over there. And earlier on, back in I think like 60s or early 70s, somewhere in that time, they were doing broadcasting on KTTV, Channel 11, local, Los Angeles. We would hear Shirley MacLaine. No. Shirley Jones of the Partridge fame. The Master is Coming. I held that story inside my heart like crazy, and I tried to keep it held in my memories. On Easter time, I'll talk about more of it, because that story was still inspiring to me to this day. Anyway, thought I'd talk about that one. Freedom's important, but we can't have it taken for granted. We can't. Otherwise, we lose it. And then what do? We fight like hell to get the damn thing back.